Welcome to Clydesdale Media. Fueled by C4, Cellucor, and Extend. Use the code Clydesdale to get 20% off at checkout at c4energy.com. The 2023 season series with some amazing athletes. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notifier so you first know when new episodes are available. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the final edition of 23.1 of our season series with the CrossFit Games athletes. And we are finishing up with maybe the best of them all, Sydney Michalyshen.
Aw, thanks.
So I want to kind of catch up a little bit. We talked it seems like just yesterday, but it was like before Christmas. Because you didn't even know if you had your visa yet for Wodapalooza.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on. And so I want to catch up. So my first question is, I go to the leaderboard. I thought I was going to cover you in Orlando. And now it looks like I'm going to be covering you in Pasadena.
Yes.
So that was a shock to me, but we can handle that. Did you know this all along? Was it something... I guess I don't understand the division and why athletes are going one way or another. And it wasn't just you that surprised me. There were a lot of athletes that ended up on different sides of the country that blew me away.
Yeah. So I think it's confusing for everyone because there's so many different rules. So I talked to CrossFit and my understanding is I don't have any citizenship in the United States. So it goes off of citizenship. And my home address is in Western Canada. So even though I train in the East, but my citizenship belongs to Western Canada. So I knew that all along, but I just confirmed it with them. I had a feeling that I was going to be in the West, even though I was training out of CrossFit New England, but I confirmed it with them. And so that's where I'll be.
Yeah, I that was my assumption, but I'd also heard that it was based on your affiliation, but then the citizenship does make sense for some athletes. For others, I'm still confused, but we won't get into all that.
Yeah, it's super confusing. But Pasadena, so it'll be good.
Right. Yeah, it'll be good. So I'm so excited about this. You had quite the off season. First, you go to your little retreat by the lake. That fascinates me every time we talk, that you can live that way. And then you get your visa to the United States and you get to compete in Wodapalooza. So from Canada all the way to Miami, first of all, how did your skin take the change in climate? Because mine did not.
You know what? I put on a lot of sunscreen. I didn't burn at all, but I also didn't get a tan. I was all over the sunscreen, all hats, completely covered out of the sun. I didn't even see the sun. My skin only when I was competing, and then I covered back up. So I got no tan, but no burn. So give and take.
Have you ever gone to Costco?
To Costco, yeah.
Yeah. So in the back where the rotisserie chickens?
Uh-huh.
That's what my face looked like.
That's funny. Yeah, there was a bunch of people that I was with that were burnt pretty bad. It wasn't very hot though. It honestly wasn't that warm.
Yeah, our listener Elise always called it the glow that I had coming back from that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. One thing from that weekend is I took pictures. I was in the media pit taking pictures. One of probably my favorite picture is of you. You have your sunglasses on. It's on Bayfront.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
And you're holding something in your hand. I don't know if it's the kettlebells or the barbell or whatever, but you have this death stare with sunglasses on.
Wait, I actually don't know which one you're talking about. I thought you were going to say a different one.
Okay. I did take a lot because you were luckily because I get to use these throughout the season as we kind of move on. You were in the lane right beside the media pit. Nice. So to get pictures of you was very easy. If you were in lane 1, forget it. I didn't get any pictures of you at all. But you were in lane 10, so you were right there.
Did I look intimidating?
It was easy to. You have your sunglasses on.
Yeah.
you're looking straight ahead, like there's nothing messing with your focus, and you're just holding on to, I think it was the barbell.
That makes sense. Yeah. I think I know which workout that was.
Yeah, it was the rope climb hold workout on
Yeah.
the team thing.
That was a tough
So-
one. I was just staring off into space. I think I was staring at my judge, waiting for him to be like, good. It's because I had to know if like Tori and Andrea were good back there, you know? That was a tough one.
So you weren't originally going to work out with Tori. I'm going all over the map just by what you're answering.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Gonna
cool.
work with Tori, but Tori works out at New England, so that's somebody that you're very familiar with.
Yeah.
How cool was it that it ended up that way at Wodapalooza?
Taylor had a back injury like last minute, and well, not super last minute, probably like a week before. So we had some time and we just wanted to compete. And then I was like, well, Tori's fit like all the time. So I was like, hey, Tor, do you want to like jump on the team? And I was like, I was expecting her to say no just because it was so last minute. And she was like, of course. So it like worked out. And that's awesome because she's cool. And I was really like happy I got to like work out with her and compete with her.
So I know Taylor. I know she just graduated like the week before. I think she celebrated too hard.
Honestly, fair enough. Like that's totally fair.
Yeah, to finish physician's assistant training or whatever it was, like it's high level doctor stuff, whatever it was, she deserved to celebrate.
Yeah, honestly, that's totally fine.
But so that's cool that you got to work out with Tori.
Yeah.
What did you guys have fun? Was the team aspect of it fun?
Yeah, I loved it. I found it more stressful because I felt like I had to communicate what I was doing. Like, obviously. But like you can't just like go off and do whatever. Like you have to explain what you're doing. And I found that very challenging.
I can see that. I can see that. Because
I loved it though.
Is that your first time team or have you done some other ones?
Yeah, that was my first time. Yeah.
Wow. Quick question on that. Would you do both ever again?
So right after individual, I literally like looked to Jarrett and I was like, never let me do this again. That was before the team event. I like looked at him and I was like, remember this moment when I want to do this, never let me do both again. Now having time away, yeah, hell yeah, I do both. But in the moment, I was like, I am wrecked. Like I was so done after individual that I was like, I could go home. But now, like looking back at it, I would totally do both again.
You know, it's hilarious. And every person I asked at Wodapalooza said absolutely not.
Yes, because it was hard.
And then every person I've asked since Wodapalooza, yeah, I'd probably do it again.
I know. It's like, I feel like we have a short memory. Like in the moment it sucks, but then you're like, it wasn't that bad. So like, yeah, I'd probably do both again, to be honest.
So a couple questions in the chat. No, she was not with Kyra Bruce. She was with Tori Dyson and Andrea Nisler on the team. And 2, she doesn't need to go on the 7 podcast. We have her here on the Clydesdale Media podcast, and that's good enough. So there. So individually, you had a great weekend.
Thank you.
You took 4th. You were a gnat's eyelash from the podium.
I think it was close. I wasn't really looking too close.
It was real close.
That's cool. That's cool. It was fun to be in the podium hunt all weekend. That was really cool.
If my memory serves, and I'm 53, so it may not. I think you were tied with 3rd. And because Emma won 2 events, she got the podium.
Yeah, it probably was something like that.
Yeah. So you were right there, which was awesome. What kind of confidence does that give you heading in? Because I've chatted with you online, like your confidence is beaming right now.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
So did the 4th place or not even the placing, but the performance at Wodapalooza, do you feel it set you up for the season?
Yeah, I think the placement, like the 4th place is obviously I feel really good about that. But regardless, I feel like the effort and the execution that I had throughout all of the events all weekend, that is me. That's the type of competitive performance that I feel good about and that I do. So I feel like to string together like a good 4 days of competition like that, like especially individual, but then being able to go and do the team, like just the execution of the whole weekend definitely built up my confidence for like what you're doing. Like I feel good about what I'm doing in the gym. I've recently started working with Mike from M2 Performance Nutrition this year. So I'm like, that's working. I just kind of solidified that I felt like good in my training plan for the year. So that was a good confidence booster for sure.
Shay Dance jumps in with good luck this season, Sydney, cheering you on from Canada.
Aw, thank you. Another Canadian.
Yeah. And Bruce is asking, did you enjoy the Indy more than the team or vice versa?
Individual way more. I enjoyed. I have individual at heart. Team was fun, but I loved individual.
Because you could make your move whenever you wanted to and didn't have to tell anybody.
Yeah, and I can change up whenever, and I just have to know. No one else needs to know.
Yeah. So your coach is Jarrett Smith, am I correct?
Yeah.
And how long have you been with Jarrett?
I've been working with Jarrett in person since middle of February last year, so just over a year.
How long do you think it takes to kind of sync up with a coach?
I think it depends on how closely you work with that person. So I feel like I synced up with Jarrett very, very quickly, but we do spend like almost all day, every day together because he's with me during all of my workouts, all of my training pieces. We meet weekly, like on rest days to go over plans. So I think it only took, honestly, maybe like 3 or 4 months, but we're definitely like even more synced up this year. Like having a full year of him watching me train and compete, having like the ups and the downs, like I feel like we're super, super on the same page this year.
So did I see Instagram right that you were his judge for 23.1?
Yes. Yes.
So do you guys have that kind of relationship where
yeah.
you can do that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think you made a post like making fun of your judge stance.
Oh yeah. So that was right after I did 23.1. So I went first and then he went second, and we have a little coffee bar inside CFNE. And I was like, oh, I could really use a matcha latte right now. So I got it in one of those like fancy little cups. And then he sent me like screenshots of his video later of me like standing there with like my slippers and my pants on. I was literally like, okay, pick it up in 3, 2, 1. And then he would just look at me like, not a chance. Like, it was good.
So Jody Lynn jumps in. Sydney, I was always rooting for you when they had wall walks at the games. Your favorite movement?
Thank you. I'm working on them.
So you see 23.1 announced. Really, at this point in the season, the open workout is just part of your training day, correct?
Yeah.
So let's take a step back. You see the announcement. Are you okay with the workout? Do you have any reservations? I see you on the leaderboard, so I'm guessing no reservations.
No reservations. I saw the workout and I was like, hell yes, it's going to be a good time.
So you go through that. Was there any point that was difficult for you, or do you just love chippers?
So I don't know if I love chippers specifically. I really like all of those movements.
Yeah.
So I kind of just was like, this is going to be fun. I had actually done that workout about a year ago. So I had pretty recent data of how I broke everything up, my score, everything. So I kind of just looked at that and I was like, okay, I'm just going to do that, but try and go faster. And so like I made it hurt, but there was, I guess, like honestly, the row, like the last row is when you really hurt. Like once you're done, like you get into the cleans and you're hurting by the time you get into the cleans, because I kind of pushed everything and then got into the cleans. And then by the time you're at the muscle ups, like everyone's hurting. But it's really when you get on the, oh, you got the video. That's good.
I did.
I didn't know if
So
it
what I'm
worked.
going to do is I'm going to go to the second row, since you said that's where it gets bad.
Yeah.
So here we are finishing up muscle ups.
Yeah.
I had to turn down the volume because your hype music was going to probably copyright me.
I had a good playlist going.
So muscle ups, you like those?
I do.
So they look strong.
Thanks.
11 and a half minutes into the workout. And then, yeah, you look excited to get back on the rower.
I looked up at the time and I was like, oh, that's a lot of time.
So are you thinking now, like, it's just head down and as many calories as I can get?
Yeah. At this point, I was like, okay, I know at this point, like everyone who's going to be super competitive in this workout is going to relatively get through the muscle ups around the same time. Like it's who's willing to die on the row that's going to put up like all of those extra cals count. Like I was just starting off, I'm pretty sure I started off pulling like 900 cals per hour because I was hurting, and then I slowly built it up.
Yeah, I think right now you're at like over 1,000.
Yeah.
At this point, you're like 11 in to 13. I don't know. My eyes aren't the best, but so what was that in comparison to the first row?
I think I was rowing at because I got off at like 3:02. So I think that has to be like 1,200 cals per hour to get off at 3 minutes. And I don't think I saw over 12 until like maybe the last 30, maybe 20 seconds. I'm not even too sure. I kind of was just like dying. I have no idea what the screen says. Definitely slower though. I think you muted yourself, or I can't hear. Maybe one of the two.
Oh my gosh.
That's better.
I wish I was a professional.
That's okay.
Oh,
I'm in my car. It
happens every show. And I get abuse in the chat every time. I do that on purpose so nobody abuses the athletes.
Oh, that's good.
I take that on for you guys.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I was saying that there was a minute to go and you were at over 1,200 calories an hour. And now you're really cooking.
Yeah.
Cooking with gas. So what did you end up with?
40 cals on the row.
Nice. So let me ask you this. You said something about you did this workout a year ago, and so you had some data on it.
Mm-hmm.
When you say you have data on it, what does that mean to you? Do you like take notes as to how the workout went? So that you have more than just a time and a score. You actually like say, ooh, at this point I felt blah, 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 or.
Yeah. So I'll take notes of, so for instance, on this workout, I like took note of how hard I was pulling and what time I got off the row, how I broke up my toes to bar, how I broke up my wall balls if I did break them up, how I did the cleans at the times at which I was at, how I felt, how I broke up the muscle ups, and then obviously the total amount of reps. So I try and be pretty detailed, especially on like workouts that I feel that I could potentially test again. So it's easy for me to look at and like have very relevant data on like, okay, this is how I did it. This is how I felt. This is where I can push. And so it was definitely helpful when you have stuff like that.
Is that a CompTrain thing or is it something you do?
I mean, we all do it at CompTrain. I don't know if it's a CompTrain thing. I think a lot of athletes do this.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I kind of do that. I'm probably not in that detail.
Yeah, it depends. Like if it's a super simple workout, like if it's a random training piece and it's very straightforward, I'll just put a time down. But for kind of like complex workouts, I try to write out how I feel during it.
Okay. Well, our friend Bruce said 700 episodes later, Scott still mutes himself. See, it's a known thing. So I want to respect your time. So I don't want to keep it too long. And we're going to be together all season long. So I don't want to like blow it all out in the first episode. So I'm going to leave it here. But I think next week I want to dive a little bit into you moving to Mike Malloy and M2 with your nutrition. And then we'll get into whatever 13.2 is.
That sounds great.
Awesome. Well, Sid, thank you so much for jumping on tonight. Good luck next week, and we'll see everybody same time next week. You good?
Sounds great. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks. We'll see you soon.
Bye.